We've got some clips from Karine Jean-Pierre, for the White House press secretary, who seems to be a 5-foot person in 15 feet of water, if you get my drift. And here's some examples to prove it. First of all, this is Karine telling us how great the economy is.
When we look at where we are economically, and we are in a strong, we are stronger economically than we have been in history. When you look at the unemployment numbers at 3.6%, when you look at the jobs numbers, more than 8.7 million of new jobs created.
I want you to just clue in on what she said. We are stronger in our economy than we've ever been in history. I'm just curious, is that the way it feels to you? Because if so, I think you're the only person I've personally had any conversation with who thinks that we have an incredibly strong and wonderful economy. If you're retired, or you one day hope to be, if you've looked at your 401k lately and seen what's happened to it, it's lost an extraordinary amount of value. If you thought you were going to retire at 65, better bump those numbers up a little bit, partner, because you're going to be working a little while longer just to get back to where you were, based on this stronger than any time in U.S. history economy. I was stunned that she said that. I thought that was just beyond bizarre. Now, here's another thing she believes that nobody else does. Even the liberal press have a hard time believing this. Her view of how popular Joe Biden is, I'd say, might be just off kilter a tiny bit from reality. Here's her thoughts.
What was the president's response to a new poll from the New York Times today showing that 64% of Democrats say that they would prefer a different candidate in 2024?
And I would also say from that very same poll, there were 92% of Democrats who support this president as well. Look, you know, not get into politics from here or get into any political analysis. This is not something, there's going to be many polls. They're going to go up or they're going to go down.
First of all, the actual number is only 70% of Democrats. Now keep in mind, who else they got? Kamala Harris, Elizabeth Warren, Adam Schiff, Nancy Pelosi, Hillary. So 70% of Democrats support the only president that they can support right now because he's a Democrat. Overall, over 80% of the American public, 80%, that includes Democrats, Republicans, and independents, think the country is going in the wrong direction. So where she comes up with the idea that 92% of Democrats support the president, that's not true, but certainly not 92%, not even 70% of the American people support this president. Interestingly, while President Biden was making a trip and headed to the Middle East to beg the Saudis for more oil, she was asked, would he be having a press conference? You know, those things that presidents used to have that Joe Biden had hardly none of. And here was her response.
One question, or two questions, but one question on the trip. Does the president plan to hold a press conference after his meetings with the Saudis?
Right now, I believe, and we'll have more to share, he has that one press conference in Israel. I don't have anything else to share on what else on what activities of the press conference, other press conference he may have.
Okay.
I know nothing. Nothing.
That's really the way we look at Karine Jean-Pierre, is somebody who knows nothing, yet she continues to say it anyway. I think that's the worst. It's just truly unbelievable.